What's going on YouTube? It's Tom here, and today I have a very interesting video for you guys. I'm going to be testing something that I see brought up a lot on the forums. A lot of people say that you have to sharpen a knife multiple times to quote unquote get to the good steel. So today we're going to be testing a factory edge versus a sharpened edge. And I'll be sharpening it on my wicked edge, but to the same exact angles that it is from the factory. Because the way the wicked edge works, even if the grind's off, I can match it on either side. And I won't just be sharpening it to the point where, I raise a burr on each side, get rid of the burr, and then I'm good. I'm actually going to flip the burr back and forth a couple of different times on each side just to mimic, a couple different sharpenings. The knife that we have for testing today is a brand new Benchmade Griptilian. It is a custom that I ordered. It is in M4. More specifically CPM-M4. Let me see if I can get you guys a quick up close picture here. You guys can see right there on the blade right behind the thumb set it says M4. Benchmade does their M4 very well. Hardened from 62 to 64 Rockwell. It's a steel they've been working with for a while, so I expect them to do a pretty good job from the factory. We'll see though if they're sharpening overheated the edge or not. That's where a lot of the rumors kind of come from as far as factory edges not lasting quite as long, because they're using typically a belt grinder or a belt sander to sharpen the edges, and it raises too much heat, which then messes up the heat treat right there on the very edge. Some brands are so bad you might actually even be able to see a little bit of discoloration generally towards the tip. I noticed that on quite a few Kershaws actually, especially the Chinese ones. So let's talk about the knife here real quick. Like I said, Benchmade Griptilian in M4. This is a full size. It is a saber grind. The grind line only comes up about halfway up the blade, so it's relatively thick behind the edge. It's actually 24 thousandths behind the edge, which, believe it or not, is the exact same as that knife right there, a Hinder Eclipse. So when you hear people talking about Hinders being a little bit wedgy, the Griptilian here is the exact same. It's 0.11 inch stock, so relatively thin stock, is just really thick behind the edge. As far as M4 goes, let's talk about what that is. M4 is a high-speed tool steel that has actually been popular in the competition cutting side of things. A lot of people make custom knives in M4 as far as fixed blades and stuff go. It's just recently in the past 4 or 5 years made its way over into production knives, with Benchmade and Spyderco being the most prevalent brands that are actually using it. They've both had some permanent runs, as Benchmade does with the Benchmade Contago, and Benchmade has also done sprint runs in it, as well as Spyderco. So as far as the steel goes, it's not stainless. It's a high-speed tool steel, like I said. There are some, I'm not going to go over like the whole composition of it, but there are some notable things in here. 5.5% tungsten, 4% vanadium. That vanadium content is the exact same as S30V, and 5.20 to 5.25 molybdenum. So as far, I'm taking this info from Spyderco's website. They have their little education page that tells you what each element does for those of you who don't know. Tungsten adds strength, toughness, and hardenability. The vanadium adds strength, toughness, and wear resistance, and the moly adds strength, hardness, and toughness. So if you guys kind of heard the common ones there, it's going to be a very strong steel, it's going to be a very tough steel, and it should have pretty high wear resistance. So without further ado, let's get into some testing. We'll be cutting cardboard like all the other tests. This is not going to count towards my sharpening test as far as a benchmark goes for that steel testing, just because it's not going to be sharpened at that angle. That will be coming later on. So let's see if all the forum rumors are true. some very interesting results here with the factory edge. Cut a decent amount of cardboard. If this was actually in my testing series, I would be very disappointed in the steel. We cut 160.25 feet. Now, like I said, this does not actually go into my steel testing because I have to reprofile it to the 18 degrees per side and put the micro bevel on it for that test. But if it were to fall in those tests, it would fall right in between VG10 and S35VN, which is very disappointing. But let's see if maybe we just had some bad steel on the outside. Let's sharpen it up and let's give it another go. Shaving sharp, back to cutting. Alright, YouTube, let's talk results here. That was very interesting. As you guys saw, I sharpened it on the wicked edge. Factory angle was about 20 degrees on both sides. 200 grit and then up to 600 grit. That's all that comes with the wicked edge go. Removed the burr and then stropped on leather on the green Sharpening compound, which I believe is right around 1 micron. Came out with a sharp edge, hair shaving edge. Cut paper pretty easily. It was a very toothy edge though, which is what I was going for. M4 does well with that. We cut cardboard until it would no longer cut computer paper. I focused on a section of the edge right here in the back, that back third. You guys can pretty much see that shiny spot where I focused most of my cutting. It did well. On the initial test, we had 160.25 feet on the factory edge. So let's see if sharpening it actually increased its edge retention. I felt like I was cutting forever off of that sharpened edge. I mean, that was a lot of cutting. Surprisingly, the knife stayed really comfortable. I don't have any hot spots in my hand from it. And we ended up cutting 268.65 feet. Like I've said already in this video, this doesn't go towards my steel testing series just because it's not at the same 18 degrees per side with a 20 degree micro bevel. This is 20 degrees per side, and this is the first sharpening on it. Like I said, I flipped the burr back and forth quite a few times to try and simulate a couple sharpenings, but that's really no trade-off for an actual couple sharpenings. Still, let's say if we did throw this into the steel testing series, this is our best yet. This is about 26 feet more than S30V did, which really isn't that much. I'll have to see if maybe over time, if I sharpen this a couple more times, if my edge retention gets even better still. So that was very interesting. There is a little bit of truth to it, I guess, with the Benchmade here, as far as the factory edge not being quite as good as a freshly sharpened edge. I will continue to do this on new knives as they come in, just to see, you know, which brand has a better heat treat on what, and seeing if we can get maximum performance after just a couple sharpenings. Anyhow, I thought this was a very interesting video. I thought the results were very interesting, and I hope that you guys thought the same. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like down below and subscribe if you want to continue seeing more content just like this. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good day.